Hello, everybody, and welcome to our masterclass, The 3 Secrets You Must Know to Avoid Costly Mistakes. If you're considering divorce, these are the questions that have come to me time after time and that I'm trying to answer in less than 30 minutes and giving you an idea of how it will be working with me or my team in order to help you through divorce. So first of all, for those of you that don't know me that well, I am Olga Nadal. I am a certified divorce coach, and I am the author of The Holistic Divorce, a practical 10-step program for healing. I am also the founder of the Holistic Divorce Institute, and I am on a mission to change the divorce paradigm. I am done with people being ashamed, people being scared, and people being confused about divorce. Through my own experience, I understood that nobody teaches us how to divorce, and that this is the one reason why most marriages end with chaos and conflict. We do not need to end our marriages in litigation. So it is my mission to ensure that anyone going through divorce is both educated and supported by a professional holistic divorce coach. That's why I also launched a certification where I train coaches to specialize on holistic divorce coaching. A little bit about my story. I was married for 16 years, and let's put it out there, it was a really nice, very pleasant marriage. But I realized that after 16 years, we were more roommates than husband and wife. And although I could have stayed in my pleasant marriage, I just had this calling. I had this intuition. I had this desire inside of me that said, there is more. There is another partner out there that is going to help you get to your next level that you're going to feel way more connected to. And although divorce was extremely painful and uncomfortable, and that I will say, even with the best guidance, it is a challenging time. But it wasn't until I let my own divorce coach guide me through the process that I was able to complete my marriage and dissolve it in a low conflict manner. So then it became my passion to teach others how to do this. And I am now living my version of happily ever after between LA and Maui. My husband lives in LA. He has children from a previous marriage. I live in Hawaii where my children are, and we just spend time flying back and forth. Every month we see each other for about 2 weeks out of the month. And this is actually my dream life. And now it is my mission to educate and empower people to have a low conflict divorce. So they are not traumatized, their children are not traumatized, and they can live the life of their dreams. Because I do not think that you have to spend years and thousands of dollars to achieve this. Divorce can be fast and cheap. The process is not that complicated once you have a professional guide you through both the emotions and logistics. If you try to do it on your own, then yes, it's so complex. So, first of all, I just want to tell you the 3 secrets that I wish I had been told. First, when I was thinking about divorce, so it would have removed a lot of the fears that I had. And second, when I was going through my divorce. So secret number 1 is that divorce consists of 2 parts, the logistical part and the emotional part. Okay, we have ignored the huge emotional component, and that only makes the process more complicated. The emotions are what are driving your divorce. It is not having a good lawyer. It is not having a partner that will cooperate. It's your emotional intelligence and the degree of emotional management that you have. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, what is emotional intelligence and emotional management, it's okay. Nobody teaches us. But I believe that divorce is a time in our lives when we can learn how to do this. And that's what I love teaching my clients. And then they use it for the rest of their life. Also, divorce is not the place where you settle emotional debts with physical assets. And this is a huge misunderstanding that creates a lot of friction and a lot of negotiations that stall, because what we have is not an asset that needs to be divided in a more equitable or fair manner. Is that we have an emotion that is blocking any negotiation. So we need to deal with that emotion separately from the divorce process in order to reach the agreement that ultimately you will be happy with. I am not talking about, we're going to suppress your emotions, or we're going to put them in the back burner so we can move forward with the negotiations. We're just going to make sure that your emotions match your intentions. You also have to find a safe place to deal with emotions of divorce outside of the lawyer's time and the family courts. Main reason for this is because if you mix those two, that's when the process will get really expensive, really litigious, very stressful, and it probably will take way longer than it needed to. Also, you have to understand our lawyers are fantastic professionals to deal with the legalities of your case. They have no training whatsoever on psychology, therapy, and coaching. That needs to be handled by a different professional. Now, let's dive a little bit more into the emotions of divorce, because you may be thinking, well, why is this so important? Why do I need to handle this? The reason why is because I have not met a single person who faced the prospect of divorce and did not go through these emotions. This is almost like your rite of passage. Everybody will go through this to some degree or another, to some level of, okay, right now I'm in despair and confusion, overwhelm, or no, I'm more into the angry or grief. So what we need to learn is that they do not have the power to destroy you with a painful divorce unless you let them take control. That's when the emotions, if you put the emotions before the legalities, if you don't handle the emotions before the legalities, that's when you're going to find a lot of trouble. So what are these emotions? Despair and confusion. Most of us will be wondering, why is this happening to me? This is not what I signed up for. Is this the end of our marriage, or is it just a bump on the road? Can we save this? Is there anything that we can do? So the very first thing that most people face is, I don't know. Is this the end or is it not? Unless there's been something very dramatic in the marriage, unless there's been an affair or there's been a huge trust-breaking moment or there's been abuse, most people will stay in what I call the limbo of divorce, which is that place of, I don't know, should I stay or should I go, for way too long. Another emotion is overwhelm. Most people feel like, where do I even start? Okay, if I've decided that this is happening, if I decided that I'm going to have a divorce, how do I start? Do I call a lawyer? Do I call a friend? Do I tell my spouse? How do I have the conversations with my children, with my relatives? Who can help me? Who is going to be more of a burden on this process? It's too many factors, too many moving pieces. Denial is another huge emotion because a lot of us are going to reject accepting that this is a reality. So we'll think, well, maybe if I just pretend that everything is okay, it will be okay. Our life is not so bad, so maybe I shouldn't complicate things. Or maybe if I wait until the kids go to university or I get a promotion, we come up with all the excuses. And then the biggest emotions of divorce, and the one that just covers it all, is fear. But fear comes up in different versions. And one of them is anger. So very often we'll either be angry at the other person, like how can he or she do this to me? This is your fault, I don't deserve this. Or we will be angry at ourselves. We will find reasons why the marriage is ending and why am I doing this if you're the one deciding that the marriage has ended. So there's a whole lot of anger that needs to be managed. Another huge emotion, and I put them on the same bucket, but then when we work with my clients, I differentiate, is shame and guilt. Two emotions, but similar in the sense that they are felt in the body, in the same centers, and they make you feel like very judged. They make you feel like, what are people going to say? How are people going to judge us? Could I have done more? Could I try a little bit further? Because we don't want to be shamed by the people who we perceive are going to judge us. And another big emotion is grief and sadness, because we have dreams that are not going to happen, dreams that we're putting an end to. Our family life, as we imagine it, with that person is not going to happen. And this is where I always remind my clients, that family life with that person may not happen, but it may happen with someone that you love even more and is a better match for you. There is also a lot of sadness regarding, will I ever love again? Will people love me again? Will I stop being sad? Is this sadness going to engulf me? So those are the emotions of divorce. Then let's move to that we need to learn how to manage, okay? The secret number 2 is that you do not need a lawyer. I'm saying you do not need. I'm not saying that I recommend that you don't, okay? I'm just saying you do not need a lawyer to complete a divorce process. But I will most definitely say that you need a divorce coach to guide you through the process. So let me make it very clear. Yes, you can do the entire process on your own. There is no requirement that you show up in front of a judge with a lawyer. That is a misconception that we have from the movies, okay? That's not the case. Your marriage does end with court-appointed judge that says, okay, I agree to this divorce, to this marital agreement. Therefore, here I sign, that's your divorce decree. But if you can do all the mediation, all the negotiation with your partner, either on your own or with the help of a mediator, even lawyers, then you don't need to show up in court. You don't need a lawyer to litigate for you. Divorce does not need to be a process that is litigated. That's reserved for only the most highest conflict cases. But what I suggest to all my clients is that the first call is to a divorce coach, because we are going to be the ones that are going to be able to guide you, explain the process, first of all, at a much cheaper rate, secondly, at a much more easily to understand manner, and third, we will be able to help you managing the emotions, keeping you accountable, making sure that you're moving forward, making sure that what you're asking for, it's what you are going to get and not regret later. And a lot of people, their first reaction is that, well, I'm already stressed about paying my lawyer. How am I going to pay for a divorce coach? But my suggestion is that you look at it as it's not an added expense. You're subtracting that from the fees that you will be paying to your lawyer. You will, in most cases, be saving money and time, which to me that's huge, because the questions that you need answered, if they're being answered by your lawyer, they're going to cost you probably twice our hourly rate. And you are most likely going to end up disappointed because you don't understand what they explained to you and they weren't taking your emotions into consideration. So I always say divorce is cheaper when you're not paying the lawyer's hourly fee. And I said from $300 and up, I've seen $800 hourly fees for lawyers. And also when you're not paying for the legal issues, like having to express and honor the story of your marriage, which I believe is a very important part of the divorce process. You don't want to do that with your lawyer. He will have nothing to do with it. He or she will be able to help you in no manner with that, because you need someone that specializes in that. And that, in my opinion, is either a therapist that specializes in divorce or a divorce coach. The difference that I always say between therapy and coaching is that therapy, they'll be looking at the past, and coaches will look towards the future, and we set goals and strategies to keep you accountable and moving forward, which in my opinion for divorce is essential. Otherwise you're shuffling back and forth and just getting lost in the process. And I always say that you will always get more answers and a more tailored approach when you're working with a coach. When you're working with a lawyer, they're going to give you the cookie cutter approach. With a divorce coach, we're able to see how your emotions are guiding you and suggest ideas and creative solutions that maybe your lawyer hadn't even thought about. So what I always suggest is, for me, the ideal is divorce coach, first call. So they're going to educate you in the process. In my case, I make it really, really simple. I make it even fun. And I make sure that you never feel like you're too ignorant or you're asking the wrong questions. We will also help you handle the emotions of divorce, which in my opinion, no lawyer should be left with this task. And we will also coach you, as in we will create the goals, the objectives, the action plan, and create the best strategy to keep you moving forward and for the best benefit for you and your children. And I also say, then you can integrate a collaborative lawyer. I always like to have a lawyer, at least telling you your rights at the beginning of the process and reviewing anything before you sign it to make sure that your rights are protected. And if we feel that your case is more complicated, and this is something that, again, a divorce coach can help you determine whether you need to go with a lawyer or not. If you're going to use a lawyer, I suggest that you use collaborative lawyers. And you can retain them for the whole process, or you can consult at the beginning of the process, like I said, to learn your lines, your rights, and then review all the documents before you sign. And in the collaborative process, you and your spouse agree that you're going to stay out of court. So all the negotiations are going to be handled with you and your lawyers, but you sign a document that says that if you end up going in court, you have to release those lawyers and get new lawyers. So this is like a form of guaranteeing that you're going to stay out of the judicial system, which to me is the option that should be avoided at all costs unless it's absolutely necessary. And like I said, that's for really high conflict cases. And secret number 3 will be that divorce does not traumatize children. Conflict does. And I want to say this here because, again, handling the emotions of divorce, one that it's prevalent, that everybody feels, is this feeling of guilt towards their children's future and feeling that they're not giving their children the childhood that they deserve because they feel that they are not fulfilling the dream of staying together. And what I like to remind my clients is that that dream is disappearing very quickly. Most of our children are surrounded by other children that come from divorced households. And as the divorce paradigm progresses and evolves towards a much better resolution, and as more people use divorce coaches, I believe that those households are actually going to be healthier and with less conflict than those in marriages that should have ended, but they don't, which is what I call the children of no divorce, which are the ones that are in marriages where there is a huge amount of disagreements and abuse and conflict, but the parents decide that they're going to stay together for the children. So that's where the problem is. Parental conflict that the kids get to witness and sometimes are forced to participate in is the problem. And that happens within marriages. It's not divorce that is the problem. And I have seen that even with the most controversial spouse, my clients have been able to communicate, to manage conflict and avoiding escalation. Because once again, I teach conscious communication. I teach negotiation techniques. I teach how to manage conflict to ensure that it doesn't escalate. Once you learn these tools, you can apply them to your partnership to ensure that your divorce will not escalate. And also something that after working with so many clients and in my own experience, I've seen that children are way more resilient than we think. And they do not have the preconceived ideas that adults have about the negative effects of divorce. So you can use divorce as a change for bonding and teaching them about change. I did this with my own children, so I can speak from personal experience. And for me, divorce has been an opportunity to teach them that there are changes in life. And as long as we do them with grace and learning how to manage and navigate that change, it's for the better. So I'm feeling pretty confident that whatever happens next in my children's life, they're going to have the skills and the strategies to deal with change because they dealt with major change as they were children. So this is the 3 secrets that I really wanted you to know. I know that it's not everything about divorce. Divorce, like I said, it can be very complex. So that's why I always believe in a tailored one-on-one approach. I believe in someone who has a lot of experience hearing your case and then saying, okay, this is where I suggest. These are the blind spots. These are the places where we can work on strengthening your intuition, what your negotiation techniques are going to be. So why divorce coaching? If you say, okay, I'm going to go ahead with divorce. Now, I agree. I should have a professional guiding me through the process. Why divorce coaching? Well, my answer would be that knowledge is power and ignorance can cost you everything during divorce. And this is what breaks my heart, seeing especially women or the stay-at-home parent go through it and ended up in a really difficult situation because they didn't know what they didn't know. And that's okay. You don't have to know how to do divorce, but you owe it to yourself to learn how to do it, and especially how to have a low conflict divorce. So don't leave anything to chance. Hope is not a strategy. And in my opinion, it is a very quick path to the courtroom. So I always say the goal of working with a divorce coach will be to get answers, to get skills. You can learn how to manage, how to direct this process. and to plan a strategy for all your logistical, that will be your legal questions, and for all your emotional questions. So no more Googling in the middle of the night, no more trying to do it yourself, the divorce, or leave it in the hands of very expensive lawyers. You can take control of your divorce with the help of a divorce coach. And in my opinion, holistic divorce coaching is the approach that is needed because it's the one that combines the emotional and the logistics. And I insist, without gaining control over the emotions, you are simply walking into a minefield where mistakes can cost you everything. So I have created done for you packages, and they are either 8 60-minute calls, 12 60-minute calls. It's up to you what you decide that will be best for you. And that's where I usually have the discovery calls, either with myself or with a member of my team, where we see where you are in the process. But I do not believe that this can be done in a couple of sessions. I believe that in order to manifest a low conflict divorce, we at least need 8 60-minute calls plus the online support. I give all my clients access to my online course, the 10-step process. I also give them worksheets, and I give them access to my Facebook membership, which is usually like $500 a year. The investment is $1,675. And then for the low conflict divorce and your next great chapter, this is the one that is a longer process, is 12. Same thing, 60-minute calls, we meet in Zoom, and we tailor it to your schedule. It's either weekly or every other week, whenever it works. Same thing, you get access to the online course, the Facebook membership. And in the Facebook group, I also bring a lot of experts. So even if you feel like, well, I still want to know more about mediators and lawyers and co-parents, that's all in the archives in my Facebook group, and I'm always bringing new professionals. And for this option, the investment is $2,475. Those are the packages that you can do for one-on-one coaching and get exclusive access to the online course, the private Facebook group, and I also do questions and answers there. So same thing, if you feel like after our time is over, you're still in the Facebook group forever, and you can still ask questions, you can still interact with other people who are going through the same process. So just to put it all together, just the online course is $497. The coaching calls every week will be $220 per week. The expert classes with lawyers, mediators, coaches, financial advisors, value between $250 and $600 per class. The printable checklist, value $197. I also do personalized hypnosis, EFT, which is emotional freedom technique, and NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, audios and videos, also for a value of $335. And you also have online support for before, during, and after your divorce. I also do fun work. I don't like to call it homework. I call it fun work that you do at your own pace. So I give you journal prompts for self-discovery. I also give you easy to follow yoga classes that I recorded myself, some audio meditations to calm your mind when we're going crazy, daily affirmations and visualizations, and step-by-step rituals for closure and forgiveness. There's one ritual that everybody says there is a before and after, and it's called Ho'oponopono, which is from my Hawaiian teachers, my Hawaiian kumus, and it's life-changing. That's part of the program as well. So here you have, again, all the value for all these bonuses that I give you when you sign up for the programs. So you get a lot. And my last question is, what could be the difference between using a divorce coach or not? To me, is that if you don't use a divorce coach, you will be going into the divorce process with a losing mentality. And you may not even know this, but all the programming that we have about divorce will create this losing mentality, this litigation mentality, this lack of understanding on how to negotiate. Also, you may be wasting time and money in lawyers, mediators, investigators, and court fees that we may be able to avoid working together. You may also risk losing control of your divorce and having a judge make the final decisions. Also, do you want to ruin your chance for a successful co-parenting relationship? Because divorce always ends, but you still have to have a relationship with a partner. And if you had a very contentious divorce, the chances of having a good co-parenting relationship really go down very quickly. And also having you and your children go through the trauma of a high conflict divorce. Is that something that you wanna risk? So for me, when it comes to people asking, can I afford one of the two packages? For me, a better question would be, can you not afford it? Because I show them the price that you pay with a lawyer and the price that you pay by using a coach as well. And to me, the unlimited billing plus the retainer fee, ongoing support, emotionally guided expectations, one-on-one strategy tailored to your wants and needs, risky litigation and custody, extended length of process. I don't know if you put all that, if you really can you afford going through the process without a divorce coach. So my question to you will be, are you ready? Get ready to transform. Get ready to use this divorce process as a chance to get empowered, to learn the skills that nobody teaches us, all the way from neuroscience to legalities, so you do not get stuck ever again. From the moment you sign up, you get full access to the online course, so you can start working at your own pace. And then you get the links to start booking the calls with me. And all the bonuses that are in the course are accessible for you. You also get access to the Facebook group. You can get going the minute that you sign up. So I suggest that you don't wait another day stuck in the limbo of divorce, that you either click on the link in the email or that you send us your questions at info@divorceforlove.com. You do not have to do this alone. I am here for you. I also offer discovery calls where we talk and you let me know where you are, either with myself or with one of my team members, and we decide if this is a good option for you. But if you've been here until the end of this masterclass, I think that you understand that there is so much that we don't know about divorce, that it's a good thing to say, okay, I'm going to find someone like my little guide, my Sherpa that is going to help me carry the weight of my divorce all the way to the end and ensure that there is no conflict in this divorce. So I'm here for you. You do not have to do this alone. Make sure to either book a discovery call or just go ahead and sign up for the program by sending me an email to info@divorceforlove.com, and I will send you all the details. Thank you so much for being here. Aloha and talk soon.